Hello, everybody.
Hello.
We're a couple of minutes late, but that's
I'm
okay. We are here.
so sorry.
Just gonna throw you straight under the bus as we start.
I will take full responsibility for us being late. I'm early.
Yeah,
That's
it
fine.
is funny. So here we are, Rebel Base
Here we
Radio
are
on a Thursday.
on a
Very
Thursday.
unconventional.
I know, but many things this week have been unconventional.
Absolutely, absolutely, they have. Oh, but look, it's all good because Matt's here, so everything's fine.
Everything's right in the world.
Um, I'm also trying a new setup for my lives.
I can see how is it feeling?
Yeah, good. I'm actually so I've got a terrible webcam. It's
I know.
dog shit. It's just awful. And
Mine too, 100%.
yeah, but I was just like, I don't want to buy a new webcam. That seems a bit much. So I've managed to jury rig a phone, not my phone, a spare phone I had, as my webcam. So it's all working.
Oh wow. Mind the gap. Oh my gosh. I didn't realize how much that was going to be like a pun throughout my time in London until like everyone's like, mind the gap. Someone gets stickers for it. I'm just like, wow, I didn't realize this is really a big thing.
It's our thing. It's our thing. So here we are. We're talking the season finale of Mando. It's all over now.
Oh my God.
Feels like we just started.
Right. No, right. Because like when we got into Mando, we were already at the tail end of the Bad Batch for season 2. And basically we jumped ship on the Bad Batch and went straight into Mando. And you know what it is too? I think the fact that Andor was 12 episodes, I don't know why I was expecting it to go longer. But it was only 8 episodes. And now I'm just like, wow, now I kind of wish all Star Wars shows were 12 episodes long.
I agree.
So we could continue this fun going.
Well, that and also like it felt like it was just ramping up.
Correct.
And now it's finished.
Now it's done. Now it's all over.
Done. Now I don't do things the way you do things.
No, but I still appreciate the way you do things.
I like to be a bit here, there, and everywhere. So I'm basically going to start by asking you what your overall thoughts of the finale was.
Overall thoughts. I don't know why I was expecting to be punched in the gut. I feel like that's what we expect from a finale of Star Wars. We feel like we need to be like taken on a journey and thrown over here and there. And I wasn't. I was like, I felt like it kind of cleaned up pretty nice. And the dots ended where they needed to end, but then there was no big. And I guess the big that was the battle for Mandalore. And I was like, oh, I did that. That was it. It was cool to see.
Yeah. Yeah. Ultimately, I felt underwhelmed.
That's kind of, yeah.
Like
we were given too much in season 2 with Luke and
yeah. Well, this is it. The more I was thinking about it, more I was like, I was expecting way too much, and I needed to check myself there because I'm expecting a cameo, mythosaur, something to happen.
To be fair, I really thought the mythosaur did show up at the end, but it was not in the way we were expecting.
I don't understand why you would tease the mythosaur earlier in the season to tease the mythosaur at the end of the season. I'm not sure what the point of that was.
Yeah, I definitely was very underwhelmed with this finale, but I'm kind. You know what? I did get a lot of these comments that said like, "Oh, either Din's gonna die, Bo's gonna die."
Yeah.
I'm actually happy no one that I wanted died in this
To be
episode.
fair, I was kind of expecting Bo to die towards the end.
I was hoping. Oh no, I mean, I felt like because here's the thing. I feel like Moff Gideon. I'm not saying that he shouldn't have died, but to be fair, we've had Moff Gideon over the course of 3 seasons. And if they want to continue that, like the show, I feel like there needs to be a new villain. And since they've already hinted Thrawn in a couple episodes ago, and we know we're gonna be seeing Thrawn in Ahsoka, I feel like once we get to season 4 and we get to see Thrawn, the villain is gonna be Thrawn for Mando too.
See, I could see that, but I'm not sure that's a good idea.
Why not? Because it's supposed to have a movie at the end to tie up this whole little Mando verse.
But I think that they could end up over egging the pudding with Thrawn.
Yeah, I could see that.
Like, so we know we've got 2 more seasons of Mando. And if we've got the first season of Ahsoka coming, then the first and second seasons of Ahsoka, potentially the third, run at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
That's 5 seasons with the same villain.
Potentially. I mean, we don't know who.
That makes 3 seasons with Moff Gideon look like nothing. Also, like Matt's been saying, and others, was it Gideon who died, or was it one of his clones?
God damn it! Oh, I didn't think about that.
Yeah. The other thing,
I don't think it was his clones because I don't think it looked like the way his clones were built. They didn't look like they were fully functioning. They looked like they were close to being done, but they didn't look like they were fully functioning.
I would say. So apparently, Chris has some hot takes for this entire season.
Oh, Chris! I mean, many people do. I mean, a lot of people. I remember seeing. I just saw the meme of like the Mandalorian with the horse being like, "This is about to be the best horse ever," and then you get the derpy looking horse.
Yeah.
By season 3.
See, I really enjoyed this season. The problem is, I think it set up too much grandeur without the ability to pull it off. Like, the whole season has been set up to retake Mandalore, and they did it in an episode.
Well, over the course of kind of like 2, really.
Not really, because at the end of the first episode of this 2-episode arc, they were beaten. But it's fine because they just fly out, crash a ship into the thing, and that's it, done. It just felt too quick. Everything was too quick. Moff Gideon, we shouldn't have lost Moff Gideon that quickly in that insane suit because that was incredible. 10 minutes earlier, Din's getting covered in flamethrower and it's not touching him, but the minute Gideon's engulfed in flames in his Beskar steel, it all falls to pieces.
Yeah, the math wasn't mathing on that one.
Yeah, the whole build up to who's betrayed them. Turns out no one has.
No one did. Not even the armor. And I'm out here like.
She just came back and started kicking ass, which is great because I really like the character. It just
I know. I actually really was gonna be devastated if she did betray them because like. She just seemed like such a staple in the community and like such I guess like a leader for the Mandalorians and such a keeper of the ways. It was just like, if you're the one betraying them, then who's left to really like continue the legacy that is the way?
Yeah.
of the Mandalorians.
Well, it doesn't matter because everyone was fine. No one died that wasn't Moff Gideon. Even Axe Wolves managed to survive a flaming ship crashing into the planet.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I thought he was gonna go down with his ship. I was just like, wow, like this seems like right. And then all of a sudden he like punches a hole out of the side and just goes, phew, and I'm like, that works too.
Yep. And then this is the bit at the end where I'm not going through the episode step by step. Everybody's seen it. We know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
The bit at the end where Grogu's holding back the fire, that was
Not
pretty
gonna
cool.
lie. That was, I mean, especially not as young as he is because he's only like at this point like 54-ish years old. Young for his species, not young for being on Earth, like being on the planet, like being alive. But that was amazing. Like I literally the second he was doing that, I'm like, he's gonna get tired in a few seconds. Watch, he's gonna get tired. He's gonna get tired, and all he does is beep. He sits back.
Yep.
Cutest thing ever.
It gave me Kanan vibes, which then just upsets me more.
Oh.
But yeah, I enjoyed the episode. Like, it was a good episode. It didn't feel like a finale episode. Like, I like how it ended. I like the fact that they just got to sit down at the end and have a break. I'm like, I appreciate that. But
yeah, we were able to get them to sit down and for them to sit down and have a break, but also kind of like, basically start rebuilding what they kept saying that entire time. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm happy it didn't get pushed off to a different season because I feel like we have been wanting the Mandalorians to return home for the longest time, and now they can. And since it's like when we started Mando season 3, it had been a few years since Luke had been with Grogu. I mean, Grogu has been with Luke, and then so I'm hoping the next season it's like a few years so we can now see the development or the growth of the Mandalorians. But once again, the gut feeling I have is the Mandalorians weren't really present for most of the sequels. Don't know if that was intentional or they just decided to opt out of the fight. But if it's obviously they wanted to fight, so I just feel like the end's not over for them.
No.
And I have a feeling there's something bad's gonna happen to him again.
It's all gonna come back again. This felt like a soft reboot almost, because like Din's going back to his bounty hunting ways now for the New Republic, which is cool. I was a little gutted we didn't see Zeb again in the bar.
I was gutted. Yeah, I was, because I thought, I was actually kind of searching for him the entire time. I'm just like, where is he at? Like, where did he go?
But we did get Filoni again, so that's okay.
I did see that. I thought it was so cute.
And overall, it was an enjoyable episode. It didn't feel like a finale, but it did feel like an ending, which is bizarre. Like, I'm not sure where it goes from here, because I'm like, you're right, the Mandalorians need to have a new sort of enemy. I'm not sure if Thrawn's going to be that yet.
Or at least Thrawn's not going to be their main problem just yet.
I think Mando's going to have problems with all those other Empire people that were in the Shadow Council before he gets especially like Hux and that. I see that happening a lot more with what was it, Project Necromancer.
Mm-hmm.
So I see that sort of building. But yeah, it was nice to see, as we have here, it was very emotional to see Din officially adopt Grogu.
I just love how he will because I was watching it actually on my way to the vet with Shadow. So I was watching it while I was driving, which is probably not the most safest thing I could do, but it be what it be. But I found it very curious how clever Din is with a lot of things. He finds a way. He finds a way for stuff to happen because he kept saying, well, the armorer kept saying, well, technically he's not your child. Like his parents are no longer here, or not on this planet. Like you can't make the decision for him. And so he's just like, okay, well, that's not working the way I want it to work. I'll just adopt him.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, and then it just happens. And I'm like, oh, we're just adopting. Okay.
Yep. So now he's Din Grogu.
He's now Din Grogu. And
cool. Those clones were pretty cool, but all Din had to do was press one button and they're all killed. So that might have been a mistake. We also had right, that bit where he's fighting through all the shields felt a little bit like a video game. These first bosses only have whips. These next bosses have shields, and you get to keep the shield when you've beaten that boss. And so you build up and build up and build up. And I was just like, it's fine.
I'm not gonna lie, I've kind of also
Hi, Izzy.
My wife. Oh, of course I was wearing my seatbelt. Well. Was that? Oh my God, what's up, Fred?
What is going down? Didn't think the jetpack could take someone into orbit. They were at a low orbit. I think it's fair.
Yeah, they weren't that high. They were in the atmosphere of Mandalore. They were just, you had like what I've noticed with Mandalore, especially that area they were in. There's that layer that exists that is the where you go through that knocks out your communicators and stuff. That doesn't take you outside the atmosphere of Mandalore. You still have a way to go. So I feel like when he was trying to get through that, I was just like, okay, well, they still are within planet and they're still within range. They just have to get through that one little obstacle, which is that rain and thunderstorms.
I mean, considering the ships had enough problems, the fact that a man with a jetpack got through it, I'm like, fair play to you. Like, I think Axe Wolf's got a lot more story in this than he ever has before, and I thought that was good because you're now not just building Mando, and then it was Mando and Bo, and then it was a little bit like Mando and the Armorer. Now they're like taking other characters like Paz, rest in peace, Axe Wolves, and they're making all of these people proper filled out characters, and I think there's a good chance we'll see more of that. I'm
actually really happy they finished I guess it was a season finale in the sense that we started off the season with Paz Vizsla's son saying his
creed.
Didn't finish saying the creed, but now we're back on Mandalore with everyone together inside the waters, which I thought someone was gonna get.
Yep.
And I'm just like, you guys have learned way too much to stay out of water when saying this creed. But then they finished saying the creed, and I felt really sad for his son for a second.
Yeah.
Was it Rangar, right?
Yeah, Rangar Vizsla.
Because I was just like, damn it, like, I wish your dad was there to see it. But at the same time it hit me, I'm just like, wow, wait a minute. His dad died fighting on Mandalore for Mandalore. I think that's the way he wanted to go. So
they're warriors. That's kind of their thing, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
They ran out of fuel chasing the dragon with the backpacks, but yeah, they could get into the upper atmosphere. There were a few things that didn't make sense, like where are those birds?
That's a great question.
Like,
I guess that's the one trick, or that's the one thing having different directors for most episodes, is you have to find a way to connect the storylines. And sometimes I'm not saying that the birds were an important storyline, but they were a storyline nonetheless. So the fact that like you had them brought to all the Mandalorians so you can raise them, and then we're
Same,
just
the
leaving
same
them where
thing
they're
they.
at.
That's the same thing they did with the Mythosaur. It's like, here's something, but we're not going to do anything with it.
Very questionable, but
They didn't eat the birds, Matt.
he did
We
not.
actually went through this whole thing last
I
episode.
thought I thought it looked like it too, but then and then Jim was like, "No, their necks were way too long."
Yeah, they were much smaller than the birds, so it looked more like a Neope. Um, will the dark saber be rebuilt? Well, I mean that's kind of the crux of it, really, isn't it? It's been destroyed. What do they do now? Do they still follow Bo, even though she doesn't have the dark saber? Was she technically beaten because he had the dark saber in his hand? In which case, if you want to get semantics about it, did Axe Wolves technically kill him?
Mm.
You
The
know, there's
whole, I guess, I don't know. I personally feel I get the history in regards to the dark saber, but I think we need to start change. They need to like adopt a new mentality for the dark saber because it is so confusing at this point,
yeah.
and especially now that it's been destroyed. Like it's
I
not.
I think what they could do potentially is, I mean, the crystal from the dark saber eventually becomes Snoke's ring, from what I remember.
Is that true? Wow.
Apparently, yeah. But I think the armorer should forge a new dark saber that has a whole new lineage, starting with Bo-Katan.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I thought that's what I'm saying. It just needs something fresh and starting again because I think the whole my whole issue with the dark saber and the leader of Mandalore is the fact that it's just based on an object.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's my issue with the dark saber.
fair. Apparently Grogu defeated him by pushing him. So Grogu's the rightful owner of the dark saber, apparently.
Expecting a
Not that it
lot,
is.
but
I'll tell you something though. It's kind of killed all sales of dark sabers. That's for sure. Like, who wants a dark saber now? It doesn't exist.
I think. Well, to be fair, now a lot of dark
But
sabers were sold at the beginning of the season.
I mean, the first so I was trying to sort Elvis dark saber out, and as soon as he finished that episode, he messaged me. He's like, "I don't need a dark saber." He's like, "Not interested." I'm like, "Yeah, fair enough. It is what it is."
That's sorry about that. I think I reset it just for a second.
That's all right. It's all good. Matt still needs one, apparently. Well, we I think we have some at Padawan, maybe. I say we. I'm not there anymore, but
The
Padawan still have
V2s or the V3s?
them. There'll be V3s now. So if anybody wants to pick up a lightsaber, you can still use the code Fulcrum and get 5% off your entire order. Just so you know. So yeah, it was okay. I'm not sure what more to say really because I felt underwhelmed. There were lots of little cool things, but nothing that blew me out of the water. And I think the problem with that was the ending of season 2 kind of sets up to expect something extra. And instead we were given a nice happy ending. And there's nothing wrong with a happy ending sometimes.
Yeah,
But
no, I mean, I think what we're so used to in Star Wars sometimes is devastation and heartbreak. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing because, like, you know, I'm that kind of person that I like watching stuff that emotionally cripple me.
yeah.
But at the same time, I just felt like the Mandalorians just kind of needed a.
Bye,
It
Matt.
doesn't. I know it's not going to be happy for a while, but I am satisfied knowing that they've reclaimed their planet again.
Yep.
That they are reunited as a people, and they're going to try very hard
Yep.
to not let their differences divide them again.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy that we got Din on a retirement home somewhere for a bit in between his little quests.
Yep.
Grogu's still practicing the Force, and Bo is leading the people. And
And we got a return of IG-11.
and the return of IG-11, and I was just who knew you just needed a brand new head,
Right?
aside from all the parts that he was needing, he just needed a brand new head.
Just needed a new head. Okay. Would you have preferred a cliffhanger or a main character death?
Cliffhanger, to be honest. Ooh, sorry.
It depends. It depends what you class as a main character, because I would have been okay if Axe Wolves had died. I mean, we lost Paz Vizsla in the last episode, so I guess that was kind of our main character death. When she was fighting Moff Gideon, I half expected Bo-Katan to take the L, because she's been around for a very long time at this point, and I thought maybe they might just be like, this is the opportunity to get rid of her completely, but they didn't. Maybe a cliffhanger. What I would have liked is, I didn't mind Din having his sit down at the end. I mean, if anybody deserves it, it's him. But if they'd have done what they did a few episodes ago when they found the Imperial shuttle in space, and it was just like there, something like that, something to give a hint of what's still out there for them, what they could face. That's kind of what I would have liked, just something little. Yeah, even just like Star Destroyer with Thrawn's logo on it, just that would have been good.
Yeah, I agree.
That's all we would have needed, and that would have got me pumped for next season. I'm not pumped for next season, but it would have given us something. Main complaint was, why kill off Gideon when he just got that awesome suit? It was an awesome suit.
That it was. That
and
it was.
The cool thing about that was when he was talking about the fact that they were the new Dark Troopers and they were going to be Force sensitive. Now, in the Legends universe, the Dark Troopers are fully mechanical, but they are Force sensitive because they've got Jedi blood in them. So they have used elements of Legends in that, but it was just going to be loads of Moff Gideons in suits, which would have been cool for a season 4 villain. Like, what's better than one Moff Gideon? 17 in suits.
And no end credit scene.
No end credit scene.
But this is in Marvel, so
No.
And I think that's very much a Marvel staple.
Yeah, I didn't expect them.
No.
I expected to feel like it had finished and then another scene to come on. And I think, yeah, for me, it just that Star Destroyer with the symbol on the bottom of Thrawn, I think that would have been super cool. That would have linked to the first episode of Ahsoka, maybe. But we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen in the first episode of Ahsoka.
Yeah, we've been very on that show's been very much under wraps, and I was just on someone's channel yesterday. We were filming for his podcast that will air tomorrow, and we were discussing a lot of the Ahsoka leaks that were out there, and I was like, to be honest, any single time the word leak shows.
I'm sure she'll be back in a second. Her internet does this quite often. The person's podcast she's talking about is Star Wars Sith He has a podcast on YouTube, and he has new guests all the time, and that's going to be all right. Oh, there, you're back.
Sorry, like I said, guys, this morning, just so you're aware, I was up so early trying to get my mom an annual pass for Disney because they went live this morning. I didn't know they were live at 6 a.m. AKA 100,000 people were in the queue, the virtual queue. So I was literally in the virtual queue to get an annual pass for my mom. I have an annual pass, and you guys know that, but my sister and I wanted to get one for our mother. And I was in the queue since 7:15 this morning. I didn't get her annual pass till 1:30 in the afternoon.
That's insane.
And I had multiple tabs open. So my internet had been running. I wasn't refreshing anything. I had everything, like all my tabs closed. Like I basically was trying to I was determined to get this annual pass. It was honestly crazy, but honestly I'm so happy that they reopened them. So if you wanted to get an annual pass for Walt Disney World, they are open now. You can get it. If you're a Florida resident, you can get the Pirate and the Pixie Pass. If you're you're not a Florida resident, I'm sorry, you have to pay. You have to get the Incredi Pass, which is over $1,000.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
Years ago, and I mean years ago, I bought a year pass to Universal, and it cost me $180.
You know, it's like, well, my parents, we used to have the annual pass when I was growing up, and my mom said that by the time we had it in the early 2000s, so like 2000, we had it, and the annual pass $200.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Like I think the annual pass now for the Pirate Pass is like $767.
So much money. So much money. Mind you, but we say that, but we just spent crazy amounts of money just for a 3-second photo with people. So you know.
I know. I shouldn't even say anything.
Hey, it is what it is. Giancarlo is such a talented actor. We waited all season for him, and he does feel like they wasted his talents and potential of his character. I felt like that too. I was just like, they just brought him back for 2 episodes and then they killed him off. It felt, I don't know. It just felt weak. That's all. Not saying I didn't enjoy it. There were just parts of it that I was just like, they've spent a lot of this season building things up for no payoff. Like we had an entire episode based on Coruscant, which didn't really go anywhere.
Yeah, like we saw our Hemlock, wasn't it? Not Hemlock. What's his name? Hemlock? Because now I'm getting the 2 scientists from Bad Batch and confused.
No, Bad Batch is Hemlock.
Bad Batch is Hemlock. Shadow. Pershing. Dr. Pershing. Yes.
Yeah.
Shadow. Stop licking yourself. Don't growl at me. So that, or I'm putting the cone on you. Hey. Knock it off. Oh my God. Stop. I don't want to have to put the cone on him. That's the thing.
Yeah. Bless him. Wow. Nat's internet is struggling. Your internet is struggling. So
my
bad.
Wi-Fi is shit today. I am so sorry. Shut up. Stop it. Come here.
aye.
Apologies for that. I had to put the donut on him so he can stop
That's
licking himself.
fair. That's fair. I was going to say something. Oh yeah, so you're on Star Wars Sith's podcast.
I was, yes. We recorded yesterday, and it'll be live tomorrow.
That's very cool.
It was cool. It was actually we talked about many things: celebration, Ahsoka, getting to see the Rebels characters live. Like, actually hadn't haven't been on a show like that, but it was very well structured. And the guy knows what he's doing. I mean,
because you're used to being on this, which is at best.
No, it's because most of the stuff that we do, we just recap. We recap the shows after the fact. So it's not like we don't really talk about like Star Wars news or Star Wars reveals and this kind of stuff. So it was kind of like it was a nice little a little detour. I'm like, oh, okay, that's kind of nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna be on soon as well.
You are? Yay!
Yeah, sometime mid-May. I'm gonna be on, so
Nice.
that's quite exciting. So I think the storyline will be revisited next season. I could see that happening, and also, yeah, if Freever can survive being stabbed twice. This is it. Like we saw him engulfed in flames, but he was in Beskar.
Yeah, I think he pretty much survived and was brought somewhere else. Because someone else that we know was kind of engulfed in flames to an extent and still lived. Yeah. Someone by the name of, I don't know, Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah.
Arms and legs. And
yeah, but he's
still
made it. So yeah, I could see them bringing him back. That would be a cool reveal, especially in that suit. That suit is so cool.
I will say, I think because I was chatting about it with Star Wars Sith yesterday. Tony, yeah, Tony is his name. And we were chatting that I was kind of, I don't know, I feel like they hinted their helmets, like with the horns and everything. And so he was kind of expecting them to be like, well, watch it be that Maul comes out and they're actually Maul supporters and Maul loyalists, and it just nothing kind of was.
Nothing
was
really
hinted,
happened, which was a shame. But like I say, I still enjoyed it. But now we can just feel the last episode make you lose that loving feeling. Whoa, that loving feeling. It hasn't. I still loved the series. I was let down by the final episode, and I still enjoyed it, but it just wasn't as good as I'd hoped. But
I think it's because we definitely got hit with such a great season finale. I'm saying that they really overtopped themselves with season 2 season finale. Luke coming in the way he did, it took us all out. I feel like since we weren't, and I don't want to say that a Star Wars show can only survive based off of cameos from the Skywalker saga. Not saying that at all. But yeah, I mean, season 2 finale was awesome. It was the best. It was the best way to end that season. And it was just I feel like we just kind of expected that for season 3 finale. Not saying that Luke had to show up.
Yeah.
Not saying that at all. But I feel like if you know that you have that potential in a finale, you kind of want it to match up for a season 3 finale, or if anything, be better. I think, and you know what? In their mind, they probably thought that was it, like them reclaiming Mandalore
Yeah.
and defeating Gideon, but it didn't.
In
It
my
didn't.
head, I was just like, it'd be really. I always thought that Sabine would be a nice addition to the finale. That would be a like, oh my god, that's awesome. But then at the same time, after seeing the trailer for Ahsoka, Sabine is not where we expect her to be. I think she's very much detached from her entire Mandalorian culture and everything else. So,
Yep.
but I think that could definitely play into season 4 or season 5 of Mandalorian with Sabine. So there's definitely, obviously, or the final movie, there's definitely potential there for sure.
Yeah. Yep. Well, now we get to be excited for Ahsoka, and now also The Acolyte, which is also a show that I completely forgot that was coming out this year.
Yep. This is a problem with all the theories, like the armor being bad. If it doesn't happen, you feel totally let down. Are we, as fans, giving ourselves a headache instead of just watching it? Yeah, 100%.
Oh, we cause the pain ourselves. We're the ones that dig the knife into ourselves.
We build it up.
We build it up. And that's kind of like the whole thing with so many of the theories and the predictions, that it's kind of, it's not, I'm not out here trying to discredit those accounts on YouTube that do leaks and do, projected theories of shows. But I don't watch them for a reason, because of stuff like this. Because you kind of like, you start believing them, and then when they don't happen, you are gutted. Yeah. Not saying that it always has to be the way that you want it to go, but like, I the entire episode, I was like, oh, when's the armor going to be like, it was me.
Yeah.
I was the spy. It was a trap. Like, I was like wondering, like, when was that? And it never did. And I was just kind of like, wow. And I never listened to theories, and I never listened to, but that was the one I was like, you know what? I think it's true. I think the armor is very sus. The armor, the math ain't mathing with the armor.
We all did. But then also, I feel like that was a deliberate plot point to give us that misdirect, to go, she's suspect. No, she isn't. She's really the greatest thing in Mandalorian history. Okay, I'll accept. So, but yeah, I think that's about all we can say about it.
Yeah, really. And that's the end of The Mandalorian.
That is the end of The Mandalorian. Where this show goes from here, well, we haven't completely decided yet, but it is definitely going somewhere.
It is.
Like, we're not disappearing.
No, I actually was going to bring it up and see how everyone felt about it first. And if people wanted it to happen, then that'd be great. If people don't want it to happen, we're still probably going to do it.
Yeah, well, we do this. People might not want it to happen. Still happens.
It still happens.
Yeah, Dave Filoni said the finale will hurt some fans, and I know it's due to the loss of the Darksaber. Yeah, it wasn't that big a loss though. We've seen things get destroyed or broken or lost, and they come back. Look at
Reforged.
Saber. Yeah, like they'll bring it back. So what are your thoughts, Nat, of where we go from here?
Well, I had an idea, and I remember bringing it up to you, and you were just like, you liked it. So in preparation for Ahsoka, which will premiere in August, we have a few months away. I was thinking we could do a Rebels rewatch series for Rebel Base Radio. So every week we'll tune back in and basically watch Rebels in preparation for Ahsoka, which is great because, number one, I know that's your favorite show.
Absolutely.
Number two, it gets me, it gets us hyped for Ahsoka because it is based primarily off of Rebels. A lot of the storyline. I think someone even said, I I forgot where I was reading it, but someone said that they didn't know how much Rebels was impactful on the Mandalorian show, and they didn't realize how much like Clone Wars is also impactful on the Mandalorian, especially with the talk of like Death Watch and all of them. Because if you didn't, I mean, The Mandalorian's a show that you really didn't have to watch Star Wars to get into, because a lot of non-Star Wars fans got into Star Wars because of The Mandalorian. But there are storylines that are connected from the animated series that if you didn't watch, they were not making sense to you while you were watching it. But that's an idea we had. We're still going to do it, whether you guys...
It's happening. So, yeah. We still need to figure out exactly what way to do it. And just figure out the logistics of it all. But that's kind of... Have you really? Brilliant.
Yeah, well, because I think how we should do it is, because I know Rebels kind of goes off of arcs sometimes, sort of like what Clone Wars was. So it's more or less just grouping the arcs together and grouping the episodes together, and just being like, we'll watch episodes X through like 1 through X, and then discuss it. But just basically just kind of hype ourselves for Ahsoka, and we got time. So, and Rebels is what, 5 seasons?
Yep.
Seasons long, yeah. So we got a lot of ground to cover.
4. Only 4.
You're right.
Ahsoka's season 5.
Yes. I love how that's... I love how we've gone to like the Bad Batch being Clone Wars season 8, like 7 point something. We've gone from like Ahsoka being, oh, that's just Rebels season 5.
I mean, it is. Come on, like they're following all of the story beats that they left off in season 4. They're picking up in this, so it's just like,
that's true.
I'm not complaining. The fact that we get to see everything in live action, I'm really, really looking forward to it.
I'm really hyped.
I just hope somewhere even if it's just a voice, I need Kanan there somewhere.
Now, would you want Kanan back as, Freddie Prinze Jr.? Okay, just checking, because some people are just like, we just need the character back, and I'm just like, okay, but like, do you want the character or do you want the actor? I want like a Steve Bloom kind of situation where like, thank God he was it was the same actor, but
no, I think just the voice. We don't need to see him as a Force ghost or anything. I just think as a voice, as an echoey voice, I think that would be perfect.
Yeah, well, actually, wait a minute. If I'm not mistaken, wasn't Kanan one of the voices that was speaking to Rey in Rise of Skywalker?
Yep. Okay. Voiced by Freddie Prinze Jr. So
they can do it.
So he's more than
it can be done.
Yeah, it can be done. So, I think that's yes.
If you guys are hyped for the idea, we're doing it. We're going to continue Rebel Base Radio. We're just going to do a rewatch series for Rebels. You guys can all obviously watch along with us. I think we'll post in advance which episodes we'll be recapping, so you can watch it yourselves and come along in the action, and get hyped for Ahsoka, because
it's... but are we doing this to ourselves again? Are we hyping ourselves too much? No,
because this is the show. This is the show we've been wanting. This is the show that we've been praying for. And already based off the trailers that we have seen from In Celebration, I know it's going to be a great show.
Yeah.
And I don't care. Like I usually tell myself not to set expectations for Star Wars shows. Because I remember when we were all discussing when Kenobi was coming out, we were just like, could be a very big hit or a very big miss. Hello there. But I think this show is going to be a great hit, in my opinion. and I already sense that in my soul. The Force is telling me that the show is going to be amazing, so I'm just going to follow the Force and get hyped.
I think depending on who you talk to, Kenobi was either a hit or a miss. So
I thought it was a hit, but I also walked into that show with like no expectations because I was just like, I didn't know where this was going at all.
But Ahsoka is a show that we want to know where that story goes. So
we've been wanting an Ahsoka show for so long. I mean, I'm just happy it's finally here. Like it's not 2024. We're waiting for it. It's 2023.
Yeah, that's a good rating.
That's pretty high for Simon. Like for Simon, like that's pretty high.
I'd say a 7.5 for Kenobi.
I think I gave it an 8.5. I think when we were on his live stream last year.
Yeah.
The one that I was incredibly on a different planet for. What's crazy is today's 420, and I haven't done anything today. Just letting the people know.
Well, there we go. I'm disappointed in you a little.
I'm still working. That's another reason.
So that's it for this episode of Rebel Base Radio. Join us for the next one where we begin our Rebels recap.
Yeah, and just tune into our social media accounts when we post that.
But before that happens, I will be live on Saturday night with my good friend Sems. He is also doing a live going over the season finale of Mandalorian. Same as what we've just done here, but his is normally in a much more tight, well-presented thing.
Yeah, I can technically make it, but I also made a reservation to go to Hollywood Studios on Saturday since I'm going to be in Orlando for the night.
Listen, you got to do that.
And I also made a reservation for Olga's Cantina. So
then you've got to do that too. Have a drink, take a photo, and send it to me, and I'll Photoshop myself and cancel it so that we can pretend we're all back in the cantina.
Yes. I just, post-con depression is a real big thing, and I didn't think it would hit me as much as it did, but I do miss being surrounded by Star Wars, and I just feel like, it's crazy. I even put a poll on my account saying, like, what park should I go to, knowing I was already going to be choosing Hollywood Studios.
Well, that's what I voted for.
A good majority. Actually, some people were switching their votes over to Magic Kingdom, and I'm like, the following weekend.
Of all three, Magic Kingdom's the weakest.
For me, obviously after having worked there for 7 years, like Magic Kingdom was always my home park work-wise. That's where I did all my parades at, and it's just, so I have a lot of memories of Magic Kingdom, but Studio is just my home park. That's where I started with the company. It's where a lot of my favorites are. Epcot I love for different reasons. Primarily to be wasted, but I will. I'm not doing that this trip. I have to financially recover from.
Don't we all?
My last trip. So.
You know what you should do on Saturday night is you should just jump in the live from Galaxy's Edge. Surely that would make the most sense, would it not?
It would.
Even if it's just for 5 minutes, you got to do it. Come on. Okay, settled. You're going to do it.
Settled.
Right.
I'm going to do it.
Great. So until next time, thank you for joining us for Rebel Base Radio. Go follow Nat on Instagram.
Go follow Jim on his account.
And her YouTube and all of that. The other way.
Yeah.
You got to point the other way.
No, you're here to me.
No.
You're here to me?
Yes.
Sir, you're here to me.
No. But that's fine. It's all good. But until next time, may the force be with you all, and we will catch you next time.